That's why I think I'm saying it for a while now. 2024, the year of truths. Like, it started with Cat Williams when he was just like outing all that stuff, and then now you have like the uncovering of Drake, the Puff Daddy stuff. Oh, the Kardashian stuff. Did you see that one? Oh my god.
Which one?
So they're saying allegedly, I don't know if it's true, but Kim Kardashian has information. Like, you know Ghislaine Maxwell?
Oh yeah, yeah.
She's like the Ghislaine Maxwell of Puff Daddy.
Okay.
Helping him with his sex trafficking.
Mhm.
And that's how they got so big, bro. What are we doing out here? If
Right.
that comes out to be true, what are we doing out here, bro?
Sure.
Because Kanye West said that too, bro. And then we all ignored him. Kanye West is like, oh, but it's true though. Okay. So he's like, I don't want you hoeing out my kids for money. Kris Jenner is the devil.
Mhm.
He said this because Christian, you know the mom?
Yeah.
Kris Jenner, she like pimped out her kids to become rich and famous. And he's like, I don't want you to do that to my children.
Mhm.
Kanye West said that to Kim and Kris Jenner. And now you look back, you're like, technically he's right. That's what reality TV is.
Mhm.
You know? Yeah. Like it's wild. If you watch the old Kardashians, you see like Kendall and Kylie as little kids. Okay.
Yeah.
Little kids just running around, right? And then now they're older and they're like full on models and they're just naked.
Mhm.
And that's what Kanye said. He's like, you're just pimping out my children like you pimped out your children. And it's like, yeah. Like, I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah. That's another
Good,
way to
bad,
look at
good.
it. Sure. Yeah. I mean, yeah. It's
Wow, you disagree? You're like, no, that's a good sound business decision.
yeah. It's they have their own decisions what they make of it.
But okay. But when is okay? No, 100%. I understand what you're saying. Like they all have their own decisions, and it must be nice to be able to. I'm just gonna bring up a personal story. I'm just gonna like kind of shift it. I was telling you guys I had the opportunity to shift positions,
Mhm.
like different job, and I was like, no. But they're like, but why? It's like obviously it's more money, you know, higher job security, you know, whatever. And I was like I literally told the person who I was trying to make it as vague as possible, but I love her. You know what? Whatever. I'm just gonna say it. I told my boss. I love my boss. Best boss ever. Shout out to you, boss. She's like, hey, why don't you go for this position? It's like, great. And I was like, no. And she's like, oh, you don't want the thing? And I was like, jobs. I literally said this to her. I was like, jobs come and go, but what we do with our time matters. And I like what we're doing here. So I want to keep supporting that. And she was like, damn. I was like, so what's next on the agenda?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? I was like, but it's like that. Because what you said, you're like, oh, people make decisions. It's like, yeah. But like, I don't know. I just felt like, because I really contemplated, because I saw the posting and I was like, will I do this? And then I was like thinking about it. And I was like, I don't want to look at myself in the mirror and be like, you sold out, bro, for some money.
Right.
And so with that, it's like the Kardashian thing. It's like, you just sold your children, bro, for some money.
Yeah, but I feel like that they had a decision, right? What happened to the brother? Do you see the brother anymore?
Oh, do you know what happened to the brother? Oh, yeah, exactly. It's not a decision, bro. We're watching it right now. He is going through a mental health crisis on reality TV because we were watching this, like, because we're like, when does it get good? Because in the beginning, it's just boring. It's just like regular life stuff. Like, he's like, the dad is literally going for a colonoscopy. I'm like, why did we watch this episode of like a regular person doing regular things? It was weird. And then like, so we Googled like Reddit, you know, when does it get crazy? And then it gets crazy when the brother, he doesn't want to be a part of it anymore, but they want him to keep making money. He spirals and he's like going through like some addictions. He's like super overweight. He's unhappy. He's depressed. So it's like, you're like, where's the brother? I'm like, yeah, the brother's not on TV because he's like, he cracked his mind. Like he saw what was happening. So it's not really, I wouldn't call that one a decision. That was more like he couldn't escape it. Like they kept trying to put him on camera, and he's like, "I don't want to be on camera. I don't want to be." Like it was wild, bro. It was wild.
Sure.
Until they just fully just cut him out.
Yeah.
So okay, going back to it, it's like I don't want to become the brother. Like look at myself and be like, "Bro, I sold out."
Mhm.
I could have kept with a good thing because I believe in what we're doing, but I'm here because I want to do what we're doing. Versus like, okay, you just got the paycheck, but like, now what?
Mhm.
You know? I don't know. Yeah. What do you think? Actually, that's a really good thought. What do you think about that?
Which one?
Like, where, because it's like, even though I didn't like my first martial arts, like it fell off. Like it was great in the beginning, but one of the things that one of my first martial arts teachers taught me, and I still think about it to this day. He's like, "Do you want to?" Steve Jobs said it too, but this guy said it first to me, which is like, "Do you want to sell toilet paper or do you want to change people's lives?"
Mhm.
Right? Because the martial arts person worked at like a toilet paper company. He was like a marketing head,
Okay.
and he left that to become a martial arts teacher. I was like, oh, I was like talking to him one time, like, why'd you decide to do that? Why'd you stay in the corporate world? He's like, I was just selling toilet paper. Why would I do that? But here, I'm uplifting people's lives. I'm making them better.
Right.
And I'm like, yeah, I'm down for that too. And he's like, ask yourself that question. You know, and then Steve Jobs said that too to the Pepsi dude, right? He's like, do you want to sell sugar water or do you want to change the world?
Mhm.
And it's like, those moments are like literal forks in the road.
Sure. Yeah.
And I don't know, some people just like, you know what I mean? It's like I get it if you need the money, but if you're okay, like I'm not even desperate, you know? It's like, okay, so I'm gonna make like what? Like, let's say I'm gonna make $10,000 more. All right, cool. What am I gonna do with that money?
Right.
Like, no, it's great to have more money. I'm not saying like throw away money, but like at what cost? You know, there's a point of diminishing returns.
There's two things, right? Yeah. There's two things to that, right? It depends for your own sanity, and it's like who you're gonna work with, like all that kind of stuff matters. It's not just about money.
Yeah, totally, for sure. Yeah, like you see it, right?
Sure.
It's like,
of course, yeah.
But then it's like, I don't bring. It's a valid point. It's a valid point. Okay, and I don't want to bring it. I was a little salty when I read it. I was like, yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, I was a little salty when I read it. I was like, fuck you guys, bro. I was like, my son was like, God damn. All right, right. So okay, so we all know Tara is a doctor, and it's like, but only you know the truth about like that come up.
Sure.
Right? You live with us. You saw how hard that was.
Yeah.
You see how I'm still like grinding for that.
Yeah.
And it's like, when it's like, oh, your wife's a doctor. I'm like, yeah, but you don't know what that, like, you see one thing, but you don't know what that's really like. You know what that's really like.
Yeah.
Because you were there. And it's like, that's funny because it's like, it's just perception. It's like, so when they're like, oh, it's easy for you to say, I'm like, no, bro, I could do with the 10,000 extra dollars.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just choosing that, like, okay, I'm cool with where I'm at.
Exactly. It depends on you. It's just so many things. It depends on your circumstance, what your values are. Like there's so many things involved in it. Yeah, it's not just.
But I feel like the world's led by money. So it's like,
oh yeah.
You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
But that's the thing. And it's like you don't know who you are until it's like the fire when we were kids, and then you were like, oh, you ran back, but I was the first one to run. Remember, I was like, oh my god, we set this thing on fire. I ran away, and then we all ran. And I was like, oh, dude, the only thing in my head was we're gonna get in really big trouble. So I ran back and I started swatting at the fire. Like, that was like a Superman moment, but I was like, no, that was out of fear, bro. Like in that moment, I wasn't thinking. I was just like, we're gonna get in big trouble if we don't put this thing out, right?
Yeah.
Right. So statute of limitations is fine now. They don't even know what we're talking about. But you know what I'm saying? It's like you don't really know until you know. So it's like when I was offered that thing and I was like, I could say yes, but then saying no was like, okay, now I know who I am more.
Yeah.
You know? And those opportunities don't usually come. But I feel like if you don't live your life sentiently, then you're just going to like wake up and be like, why is my life like this?
Mm-hmm.
And then you're gonna blame others for, which is how I felt with that response. I was kind of like,
right, yeah,
you know what I mean? I was like, what? But like, we all make choices, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's a reason why I live the way I live, you know? And like, I feel like we don't take enough time to take stock of the decisions we're making.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And which is like, to bring it back to Drake, which is kind of how I feel. It's like maybe he was just like swept up in the whole thing. So this is a great opportunity. This is a great opportunity. Okay, well now,
yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then it's like, but when was that moment where you're like, no?
Yeah, maybe
It's like, okay,
maybe
no.
his people was like, yeah, we should have a response. Like this will help with your name.
No. I'm for sure. No, 100%. I'm sure. Not about the rap battle. I'm talking about the sex trafficking.
Okay.
Like, when was the point? Like, why did you hire an ex-sex trafficking person to be on your team?
He's still on his team, or he?
Yeah, he's still on his team, bro. It's one of his key people.
Okay.
So it's like, okay, why are you surrounding yourself with that person? Like, this is one of those moments where you're like, you know? And this is why I hope nobody dies from this. Like, I hope, like, because we saw what happened to Tupac, Biggie, Nipsey Hussle, right? All these people, just like these rappers, got gunned down, right? I really hope Kendrick doesn't get gunned down. I just want more music. You're a great leading by example, right? And one thing that Kendrick was saying early on, because they used to be friends, right? So when Kendrick came to Toronto, Drake was like, let me show you what this lavish lifestyle will be like. Like, we're rich and we're famous, right? Because Drake was more famous than him at the time. And then Kendrick had a crisis of conscience. He's like, do I want this? He actually, his whole verse on Drake's album, where he was first featured, is all about him wrestling with the price of fame. Because he knows that it's like, there's some bad things that you have to do a part of it as a part of this. And it's like, do I really want to be a part of this?
Right.
You know? And that's one of those moments where it's like, you don't know till you know. And now you're famous. And like, you know what I mean? Like, you see it. You're like, oh, I could be more famous if I just join these sex traffickers.
Sure. Yeah. I see. I know what you mean. Yeah. It's just like doing these things will help with your fame or whatever. And then it's like, you don't realize.
Or show us you're a team player.
Yeah.
You know, like, we don't know what Drake's been doing.
Sure.
Like going back to like the Epstein stuff, right? Where he's like, he's getting all this like dirt on people and like sleeping with minors and then like videotaping it so that he has like this video in his pocket of a politician sleeping with a minor, so he could be like, oh, I'll blackmail you, right? And it's like, what if that was the deal? It's like, hey, I'll give you this entire fortune and you let me have this dirt on you. And you're kind of like faced with that decision again. You're like, do I want to do this? Yes or no?
Yep.
I'm going to look at myself in the
Sure.
You know what I mean? Which I think is like, we're all faced with that to some degree in our lives. Like, you know what I'm trying to say? Where it's like you want something, you think it can happen, but the cost is too heavy, but you're not thinking about the cost. So you're just like, I just want this thing.
Short-term gain?
Yeah, short-term gain. Yeah. Versus like long-term spirituality and like whatever.
Yeah, right.
You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.